Jai Jinendra everyone. I welcome you all to this second lecture of the series Four States of Existence. In the earlier lecture, we have learned about the four states briefly, and dedicatedly, we have learned about one single existence phase, and two will be covering in this lecture. So, today again, we have Sayam Bhaiya with us, who has initially covered this topic. And since this is a three lecture series, so today is the second lecture, and the conclusion lecture will be having in the coming sessions. So, in terms of the topic, we have discussed lot many things about these four gatis, and is there something beyond these four gati, or are these four gati everything? What is Pancham Gati? All these topics we have discussed. In terms of today's topic, we will proceed with what we discussed earlier. Before we start the lecture, let me shortly introduce you all with the Jeev portal. Jeev portal is a platform where you can get the accessibility to learn Jainism in English language, English medium. In this portal, you also get to know about different lecture series. These lecture series comprises of articles, presentations, quizzes, and lectures recorded by our experts. So today we have the second lecture of the series Four States of Existence. And now over to Sayam Bhaiya to continue the lecture. Bhaiya.
Thank you, Harshit. Om Manglacharan, let's start with it. तीन भुवन में सार वीतराग विज्ञानता शिव स्वरूप शिवकार नमो त्रियोग संहारिके. We are discussing the story of a Jeev. A Jeev in its various forms can be found in various places, and all these places are called as Gatis. Basically, there are 5 Gatis: Narak, Tiryanch, Manushya, Dev, and Siddha Gati. All these 5 Gatis are those places where we can find the activities of Jeev. These are basically categorized from the lowest intellect to the highest intellect, from where you get the greatest amount of pain to where you get the greatest amount of knowledge, happiness. So that way, these are being categorized. So if you start from Nigodh, that is a place where knowledge is very little. Moving on towards the stages of Tiryanch Gati, then to Narak Gati, then to Manushya Gati, then to maybe Narak Gati, and then to Dev Gati, and then to Siddh. And when we talk about the places where we are at most at pain, and to places where we can have the greatest happiness, it goes this Narak, then we go to Tiryanch, then we go to Dev, and then we go to Manushya, and then after that we go to Siddh. So there are many ways by which we can look at these gatis. Moving on, we had discussed Tiryanch Gati in the previous lecture. We discussed about what is the Dravya, Kshetra, Kal, and Bhav of Tiryanch Gati. We're going to discuss the same for Narak Gati first, and then we'll discuss for Manushya Gati. In your module, the 4 stages are given as per Chedhala. Chedhala, or maybe you can say Moksha Marga Prakashak, where Tiryanch Gati is explained first, then Narak Gati, then Narak Gati, and after that Dev Gati, Manushya Gati, and then after that Dev Gati. So this is a complete cycle they are talking about, and then we go back to Nigodh, and then again this whole process starts to happen. Now, in Manushya Gati, the discussion that we are going on, Manushya Gati, the structure we are discussing is, sorry, we are talking about Narak Gati first. Okay. What is Narak Gati? So it's wonderfully rightly said. Na ramanti jado nicham davve khete ya kala bhaveya annonnehi anicham tado tamha te naraya bhanida. Means jaha, the place where you really don't like to be, the place where the physical form of you, the mental form of you, the time period that you are sharing there, everything is unpleasant. You really don't want to live there. Everybody whosoever lives there considers others a threat. Such a place is called as Narak. um, Tilak Pannati rightly discusses what are the reasons of being in Narak, what Narak is exactly. So, Ashubh Gati and Ashubh Ayu. The demeritorious form of Gati and Ayu is considered to be Narak. It's the worst place imaginable. As Chedhala talks about it in a very nice way. Um, Chadala discusses this with a very different perspective altogether. It starts off with the Ghor Shwabhra Sagar mein paryo. This is called as Shwabhra Sagar. Shwabhra Sagar means a place where no happiness can be found. So Shwabhra Sagar is called as Narak. So as you can see, the pictures are very clearly descriptive of the situation in Narak Gati, and so is explained in Chedhala. What do they say? Ati sanklesha bhavate maryo ghor shwabhra sagar mein paryo. So in case if you want to reach to Narak Gati, the best way out is Ati sanklesha bhavate maryo. In case if you have extremely intensified bad feelings in your life, you're very dissatisfied with life, this is where you go. I'm sometimes very astonished by the fact that our society, whosoever dies in our society is called as Swargavasi. Whosoever dies is called as Swargavasi. Is it sure that everybody goes to Swarg? No. But the fact is, we don't look at people from that perspective that they were bad because we don't want to learn that. Swargavasi is not for the person who has gone to Swargavasi. It's the thought, it's the understanding from which we think that we can reach to Swarga. That means we take good things from anybody. कितना ही खराब से खराब व्यक्ति हो, हम विचार ये करते हैं कि उसमें क्या अच्छाई थी, हमारे लिए लेने लायक अच्छाई क्या थी. So that way we call everybody as Swargavasi. Fine, we are discussing about Narak right now. So it's a very difficult place to live at. From three lok perspective, this is called as adholok. The word is absolutely describing of the state it is. Adholok, जहाँ व्यक्तियों की हरकतें अधो होती हैं, means the activities of people are very low there. Then it says, तहाँ भूमि पर सत दुख इसो बिच्छू सहस डसे नहीं तिसो. As soon as you land to the place, it feels like thousands of scorpions are killing your feet. You feel like very difficult there. तहाँ राध श्रोणित वाहिनी क्रमि कुल कलित देह दाहिनी. The water running there, the place around there is absolutely disgruntled. It feels like the hot is too much, the cold is too much, the rivers flowing there are of pus. The place is really a mess. Semar tarudal jut asi patra asi ज्यों देह विदारे तत्र. Means that the even the trees there are so difficult that in case if any one पत्ते को क्या कहते हैं, any one leaf of that particular tree, if it falls on you, it cuts you. So such a difficult place it is. Meru saman loh gali jaye, aisi sheet ushnata thai. So the winters and summers are so extreme that in winters your body gets completely destroyed, and even the summers are the same. सिंधु नीर ते प्यास न जाए तो पण एक बूंद न लहाए. Even if you get the water of oceans, the water is so that your thirst is so that even it doesn't account for more than a drop. The food, again, the same situation. Even if you get the food of the whole world, it doesn't quench your need for desperate food. तीन लोक को नाज जुखाए मिटे न भूख कणा न लहाए. So even if the stage is very considered difficult, ये दुख बहु सागर लो सहे. So this is how Narak is explained, that the place is really, really a mess. It's a very difficult place. If you read from the module, you'll get a lot of information apart from this as well. But even then, there is one thing because of which we are in Narak and we are unhappy. See, being in a state is not unhappy. Mind my words. We're talking about Narak Gati. Being in such a state is not demeritorious. The demeritorious thing is wherever you are, however you are, you do not have the rightful understanding. That's the worst thing you can have in life. If I'm in Narak, everywhere there is a difficulty. The first three Narak, they have a very auspicious thing. They have a, they have a festival. The festival is called as the coming of Asur Kumar Jati's Dev. He comes and helps you to enjoy most of Narak. What does he do? He helps you to fight properly. He helps you, they help you to, how to fight. They give you tricks, they give you intensified feelings, they share some stories of your own past by which you get really excited and hence you do such activities. But everything depends on what you choose. If somebody is fighting with you, you choose to fight with them. If somebody is disturbing you, you choose to be disturbed through them. Hence, the whole situation around Narak Gati also stays from this particular aspect. Like we are, Vitragi beings. वीतरागी देव तुम्हारे जैसा जग में देव कहाँ. Like we consider Dev, God, as non-attached, Vitaragi. Same is the situation with us people. If we consider ourselves to be, Ichhavadi, we have wants in our lives, we have desires in our life. These are actually taking away. We have goals in our life. We have, great achievement, aspirations in life. These are basically taking us down. Because these aspirations, don't you think Narki would also have such aspirations in life? Don't you think a Tiryanch, Nigodia Ji would not have an aspiration in life? Everybody has aspirations. The Nigodia might be a little, a questionable situation, but still everybody has aspirations in life. And these aspirations are actually pulling our legs from understanding what the actual reality of life is. So wherever we think there is happiness, there isn't one. Wherever we think there isn't happiness, there is one. We never consider ourselves to be a very happy state. We always consider आंख बंद करो और हमेशा हमें दुख दिखाई देता है. The moment we try to think on ourselves, we feel like it's the worst place to live in. But the source of happiness lives there only, because a pen is not happy when being used. You are happy when you use a pen. Food doesn't get happy when you eat it. You get happy when you eat it. So it has everything to do with you, your understanding. And hence Samyak Darshan is a thing which can be attained in Narak as well. Yes, there are situations. Even Samyak Drishti can land to Narak. There are a few Narak where no Samyak Drishti can come, but you can attain Samyak Darshan. And while coming out of that Narak, you will not have Samyak Darshan. And there are places in Narak where you go as a Samyak Drishti and you come out as a Samyak Drishti. That means you stay for Samyak Drishti for that particular amount of time. It's not only about Samyak Darshan, it's about Tirthankar Prakriti as well. The most auspicious Nam Karma Prakriti you can have. Even in the third Narak, you can have this particular state and you can reach to that particular level. So, Narak is actually a bad state to live in just because we have made that as a place, a difficult place to live in. It's like sometimes I see Chaar Gati as society. And as Karl Marx says, that society is a building of human beings. We build a society and we break a society. Similarly, Narak is a society where everything is built out of anger, out of frustration, out of misdeeds, out of mishappenings. You can imagine places you can imagine such places around you as well. There are a few red light areas around us which really give you an intensified feeling of how things can go wrong, how things can go such difficult. Imagine a situation of famine. Imagine a situation of flood where you really don't have anything. You are ready to do anything to anybody. Still at a place, people become understanding. People become wise. Similarly, is a state with Narak. So, talking about the Dravya of Narki, they are Sangi Panchendriya Jeev. They do not make babies there. Who says Narak is a bad place? It's a wonderful place. You do not have any problems of making somebody pregnant and going to doctors and managing their life. There's no such system in Narak. Nobody gets pregnant there, and hence their ling is called as Napunsak ling. No babies there. Uh, then we had discussed about the kshetra. The area is very difficult. First three narak are very warm, very hot, and below four are very chilly, very chilly. The time period in which Narak Jeev lives, it spans from 10,000 years to 33 sagas. It's a very vast time range. The lower Narak, they have 10,000 as the age, and as soon as you start going down the Narak, the time period increases. So actually, sometimes I feel like Einstein has stated this. He says that time is the killer of everything, and time is the most eternal thing that exists in the world. So 10 मिनट के लिए आपको कोई दर्द मिले तो वो दर्द ज्यादा बड़ा दर्द नहीं माना जाता. In case if you get that pain for a very long amount of time, even though it's a very little pain, see, in the first Narak, the population is very high. In the lower Narak, the population is low. Even though the population is less, the situations are so that really you cannot survive there. So it's not always your neighbor who's a difficulty for you. It's your understanding towards that neighbor makes it difficult for you. So again, it's not about the neighborhood, it's about you who thinks where you are and how things are going around you. Uh, so the time period is this. And the bhav, the feeling by which you attain Narak, and the feeling that every Narki feels is anger. Out of four passions, anger is the best way to define the state of Narki. So there is a good thing, there is a wonderful thing for all you angry people. Even you can attain Samyak Darshan. So don't worry for your anger. Anger is just a passing thing for you. So whatever passion you are at, you can go beyond it. You can go beyond that particular state and attain Samyak Darshan. So that way we have discussed a little about Narak. All right. I hope this is quite clear to everybody. Now let's move on to human state. It is called as Manushya Gati. all these people here, they basically, I think they belong to UP, I guess. But then, yeah, it's everywhere around. All humans, how many humans we have? So it's considered to be a number which has 20 digits. Generally, it is considered so that these many number of Manushya we have. How many Narkis are there? So it's considered to be asankhyat. It's actually uncountable. You really cannot count how many number of Narkis are there. Several and several. So again, the structure of the world again tells you this very clearly that there are always going to be very bad people. Very n number of bad people. Do you know how many people are there in Devgati? They are also asankhyat, but they are more than the Narkis. So it's always so that there is good which lies in all of us. Maximum number of times or maximum number of people are actually good in this world. There are very few who are very bad, but then that number is also not very little. The best people are the humans who can attain Samyak Darshan, who can reach to Siddha Dasha. So such people are very little. So even then, there are a lot of people who are bad, considered to be bad. So this is considered to be a very auspicious gati and a very wonderful ayu. It's a very nice place to live at, where your intellect is more, your surroundings are very supportive to your intellect. Narak, the surroundings are not very good. Devgati also, there is such a lot of competition. Imagine a Bollywood city where all the actors are living. Now, all the actors, they have a lot of money, they have everything around them, yet they are troubled. They're troubled of competition. They're troubled of getting offers. They are troubled of who's getting which movie, which role, which situation. So there, mentally people are very disturbed. But when it comes to humans, the surrounding is really nice. It's a very nice place to live around. The atmosphere, the weather, the circumstances, the situations are very positive in nature. Considering India to be one of them, India has a wonderful weather, India has a wonderful resources. Everything you have is at a very good form. So where is this Manushya Gati? So it lands at the middle portion of the lok. It is called as Madhya Lok. This is the place where you can attain Siddha Gati from. So our by the description which I have given you, it seems like it's a wonderful place to live at. But there are struggles there as well. In Chadhala, they state about the struggles people face there is Janani udar vasyo navamas ang sakuchate payotras. See, we have grown and we have forgotten things. We don't even remember how were we when we were 1 year old or 2 year old or 3 year old. But when we see these things in some person around us, we get to know that that's a very risky state. हर 10 दिन में बुखार आ जाता है, थोड़ा सा ही खाने पीने में कुछ बदलाव हो जाता है, people really get sick. It's a place where you are very succumbed to diseases. You really have a very difficult life there. So going back to that, we consider that this is, a boy, a baby is of 8 pounds, 9 pounds, 10 pounds, and it's coming out of such a small hole. You can consider the way the child would have come out of that particular place. And hence we say that ang sakuchate payodras, the 9 months, the 8 months, the 7 months, and nowadays even 6 months, a baby lives inside the womb and they are in such a situation where they have to, very live like a difficult state, a state where the body is very difficult to move. बालपने में निकसत जे दुख पाए घोर तिनको कहत न आवे और. The time when it comes out of the womb, the comes out of the its vagina of a woman, that particular time it must have had extreme amount of pain, extreme amount of misery. Then what happens? Balpane mein gyan na lahyo. So we had a very nice time in our childhood. Every time whenever we remember our childhood, we generally do not remember the things we have learned. We only remember the mischiefs we have had. Tarun samay taruni rat rahyo. Again, whenever we remember of our youth, we remember to the days we had spent in our school having a what type of an education is it? It is called a co-ed education. I think it's called co-ed education. Co-ed means boy and girl, they both live together in a school and they learn. So half of the time they study and half of the time they look at each other. That is the thing which we enjoy to remember in our old age. And when we come to old age, we always think of one thing that we have wasted our life, or we consider that now is a good time where I can learn things, but I don't have that power, I don't have that understanding because the life spent in a difficult way. अर्ध मृतक सम बूढ़ापनो कैसे रूप रखे लखे आपनु. So all these stages of life, Sudha Murthy has written a wonderful poem on this particular situation. She says the 7 stages of life, these are very difficult stages. It's a pentameter actually, which states on the miseries that we go through during these stages. But then still, there is one thing which is common in their learning. We keep on learning, we keep on growing, we keep on understanding, we get better every time whenever we come out of it. So that way, human is a state which not only has the opportunities to become better, to become siddha, to become a samyak drishti, to become a vrati, become a sadhu, but it also comes with the challenges of the age-old traditions and the people around us enjoying a childhood. You never know what childhood was when you understand and compare your childhood with somebody else. Once you start comparing, you try to testify, justify, and justify what situations were and how they have been. So again, comparison is a killer to life. So let's look at the Dravya Kshetra Kal Bhav of Manushya Gati. So Manushya Gati is a place where everybody is Sangi Panchendriya. Manushya Gati is a place where all the 3 ling are found. That means Purush, Stri, and Napunsak. Napunsak, Napunsakni, everybody is found. The place we have discussed, it's a very nice place to live at, very resourceful. It is in Madhyalok. The time period that you spend in Manushya Gati, it starts from Antar Muhurt. Matlab it can be, a speck of a time, a very small amount of time. And it can go at the max to Teen Palye. Here, if you see at your notes, it says 1 crore purv. So, Manushya are basically categorized into two. It is Karm Bhumi and Bhog Bhumi. The Karma Bhumi Manushya has the maximum age of 1 crore purv, whereas when we come to Bhog Bhumi, the Manushya can have at the max to 3 Palye. So that way, this is the particular time period which is to be spent in Manushya Gati, and then the Bhav of Manushya Gati. So Manushya can have all the Gunasthans and the Gunasthanatit situations. So first Gunasthan to Siddh Avastha. All the Gunasthans can be are attained in this Manushya Gati. The speciality of Manushya Gati, which differs them from other Narak, other Gatis, is Sadhu Avastha. Sadhu Avastha, Shreni Avastha, Arhant Avastha, Siddha Avastha. Siddha Avastha is actually beyond it, but before that, everything, these are the basic specialities of Manushya Gati. Look, Tiryanch are always naked, and Manushya are never naked. They are always considered to be civilized. But when a Manushya learns to live like a naked saint, then they become a special beings. They become great beings. So being naked is not wrong. Being naked from the heart and the brain and the body is considered to be the righteous state to live in. The passion which is very predominant in Manushya Gati is pride, is ego. Like it says, how do you attain Manushya Gati? So the answer to that given in the Tvat Sutra is Alparambha parigrahatvam manushasya, where your arambha and parigraha are very less. Wherever you have lesser desires towards things, you get to Manushya. Now, if you come to Manushya and you have greater desires, where will you land? That's a very different chapter altogether. But in case if you have come to Manushya, you must have had lesser Kashaya in your life. You must have had lesser Arambh and Parigrah in life. So that way Manushya is attained. There are other ways as well, like Swabhava Mardhavamcha. If you have simplicity in life, you are not very excited in life, you do not have very pride, too much of pride in life, you get to Manushya. But look at the, atrocity or the antithesis of this situation. You become a Manushya because you had lesser pride, but once you have become a Manushya, there is only pride, pride, and pride. So that way, Manushya Gati is a state where things go in such a way. So this is how, Manushya Gati can also be understood. All in all, two Gati are considered to be a very difficult situation to live at if you have Mithya Darshan. Once you come out of Mithya Darshan means having desires, having wrong understanding towards things around you, not trying to understand what substances are and how their nature is. Once this is not true, definitely your whatever you're going to do is going to be a difficulty for you. Who a mother is, who a father is, we don't know, but yet we become mothers and fathers. That's the greatest curse to society. We um, we become saint, we become a terrorist, yet we don't know what a terrorist is and what a saint is. Hence, that is the curse of another understanding of society. So, all in all, this is a complete structure of these two gati, where these two gati basically help us in understanding the various forms of jeev and the movement happening around one another. So, imagine a narki jeev who's having great anger, but has a mentality of less armbha, less parigraha, having a lesser attachment towards things. Imagine the situation: person living in Narak and yet not getting attached towards anger so much can land to a Manushya Gati. And a Manushya who has a lot of arambha, lot of parigraha, who thinks that attaining such things in life is what we live for, is going to land to Narak Gati. So this is how the movement in Gatis happen, and which actually is very sensible in nature. Sometimes when we start studying philosophy, uh, this Narak, this Swarg, we stuck with them. We are stuck with them. Do they exist? Is there a really sense behind having a Narak or a Dev Gati? But the fact around this is not that we, not to, get caught by words or by concepts. The basic idea is you can understand all of them right here. You're living in whatever gati you are living in, whatever, like we are living in a human state, in a Manushya Gati. We can understand this very clearly where we are going wrong and where we are going right. The wrong is basically in two forms. Either we are at a stage of life where people are very overpowering to us. So we are actually like Tiryanch. We are at a stage where we keep on fighting with one another, like siblings, like, brothers, like anybody for that matter. Matlab, those fights, they go on and on for a complete lifetime. What else this is? This is Narak, a place where you have understanding, you have vidya, kala, you have ways by which you can make yourself productive. This is how we become a human, and the place where we live for others, we help others, we try to become better for others. We are not very competitive in nature. We are of the state where self esteem is more important. For us, self actualization is more important. Such a place is Dev Gati. So it's not about, let's not get very much bothered by the names of Narak and Dev. These are basic understandings which are termed around these particular situations. But yes, there is Narak, there is Dev, not just in understanding, but in a physical form as well. Because if that weren't true, we might not have the kind of experiences which we are having right now. Means what? Uh, Now today everybody knows of the fact that bhoot exists. What are those bhoot? These are Vyantar Dev. These are Bhavanvasi Dev who live around us. They live around us in a form where we are being bothered by them. Those who are weaker in understanding, they get affected by them. They get, deflected by them. So again, who gets affected by corona? The person who has low immunity gets affected by corona. Similarly, who gets affected by a Vyantar? Who gets affected by a Dev? Low immunity towards low understanding towards structures in life, they get affected by all such things. So, all in all, I hope this structure of these two gatis are quite clear to all of us. And once we understand these gatis well, we can grow into understanding what was wrong and how things can go right. So that's all for today. Harshilji, over to you. I hope these two are quite clear to all of us.
Yes, thank you, Sayam Bhaiya. Obviously, the explanation was very clear. It was basic plus the basic understanding which everybody should start with is there. Uh, when it comes to fourth Gati, we will be taking in the next lecture. So now the session is open for question answers. I guess we had one question from Sonal ji. You can put it up in the session, please.
I just wanted to ask in the Narak Gati, like when the Dev or someone comes to teach you how to fight or like this, like if we, as a soul conscious, if we wish not to fight with the other in the Narak, is it possible, or we will be tend to fight with in that Gati with that Prakriti?
Good. Thank you, Sonal ma'am. That's a good question. I would have a counter question. Did you ever have siblings in your life?
Yes.
Did you choose not to fight with them?
That is not.
Naragati, Naragati is a situation
Huh.
where the surroundings are so that you really cannot stop doing this.
Okay.
See, as I had already said, being angry doesn't mean you are unintelligent. You
Huh,
can
huh.
while being angry, while being you have small, specks of time, small amount of time where you do not fight, where might have a good time, but in
Hmm.
general the description which is there in our Janmani, it
Hmm.
completely describes Narak in a way where it's a very difficult place to live at. In the first three Narak, wherever
Hmm.
people do not want to fight, where they
Hmm.
choose to fight, these
Okay.
um, uh,
Higher in.
yeah, no, the Asur Kumar Jati Dev, they
Acha.
come and they help you how to fight. I mean, they show you situations in such a way where you feel like fighting. It's like a very difficult stage. You remember when we were in first class, second class, or third class, where there
Hmm.
when there was no teacher in the class, what we used
Hmm.
to do? One, we used to fight, and those who are not fighting, we go to them and tell them ways by which we can
To join the group.
fight with others. Exactly. So Narak is such a place where this happens. And after that, from four, five, six, seven, these four Narak are places where people are in themselves very much angry,
Acha.
extremely angry.
Okay.
A stage where, like our fathers,
Hmm.
when they have such a difficult day, everything has gone wrong, and then they generally tend to become angry. At every moment, they start to become angry. I'm not, generalizing my statement. I'm very specific.
Yeah, yeah. Understood. Thank
They
you.
always they are fighting because they're very, very angry. So that is the situation, which I understand from what Jinmani says. Harshilji, would
Okay,
you like
thank
to add
you.
something?
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
I think perfect example Bhaiya quoted for this question. And now we have one more question which I got on text. The question from the audience is Asur Kumar Jati ke Dev, they are in Narak Gati or they are in Dev Gati? If they are in Dev Gati, then why they are physically present in Narak Gati? What is the difference that you can explain for this question?
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for this question again. Um, Good question, I must say. So they actually span from this Manushya Lok to Dev Lok. So there are two types of, we are considering two types of Devs right now. We are actually going to discuss about Dev in our next segment, but in order to answer your question in short, uh, there are, you know, few good beings who are very good, but then they being good is not expressed well. Rather, it is expressed in a different way. Like imagine a upper middle class person and a higher class person. An upper middle class person is again very much distracted with whatever is happening around them, but then they have a little peace with them. Higher level people or higher class people, they are very sorted. They are very much clear with what is happening and what is not happening. So that way, the devs are basically categorized into these two things. Now, speaking from scriptures, they reside at these three levels. One is the ground level where we are living at a level which is below us. Now, this is called as Chitra Prithvi. This Chitra Prithvi has three levels. First is called as Khar Bhag. Second one is called as Pank Bhag. Third one is called as Abbahul Bhag. So in this Abbahul Bhag, these Asur Kumar Jati Dev, they have Bhavan there. These are Asur Kumar Jati's Dev, they are basically a part of Bhavan Vasi Dev only. So Bhavan Vasi Dev means the ones who have palaces. So they have palaces, they have a temple there, they have a wonderful place around, they have all different types of categories. Like there is a prince there, there is a king there, there is a kshetrapal, like a bodyguard there. All sorts of beings are there in this Asur Kumar Jati ke Dev as well. Now in these, they live at the bottommost level of the earth we live at. Now, on our earth, there are basically Vyantar Jati ke Dev and other Bhavanvasi Dev. Above us, like, 700, 800 yojan above us are Jyotish Dev, like Surya, Chandrama, etc. And after the peak point of Sumeru Parvat, above that are all Vaimanik Dev. So Vaimanik Dev are those Dev who are actually, higher class people. Baki, all the things are actually upper middle class people where they, sometimes like to fight, they sometimes like to enjoy, they sometimes help people. All Vyantar are never bad. There are good Vyantars as well. I've known stories of good Vyantars as well. I've known stories of bad Vyantars as well. So situations happen around. So where do these people live? It's a very different question. So Yantar, they live either in temples or in, empty houses, or they live in trees. Bhavanvasi, they have absolute bhavan, they have places, houses made for them, and they live there. Jyotish, they live in Viman only, and those Viman, they completely always circulate. Nristhiti Paravare, Tripalyopamantar Muhut. So they completely revolve around this Sumeru Parvat. So you must have heard that there are two Surya and two Chandrama dedicated for us as Jambu Dweep beings. Then the other one have double the thing, then double the thing. So that way it increases that way. So these are Jyotish Dev, and above them they all live in Vimans only. So these Vimans are basically called as Swargas, and there the structure of living happens. So I hope I have answered your question well.
Thank you, Bhaiya. Yeah, so adding to one more point which Bhaiya explained, obviously to summarize, नरक एज वी से नरक गति में दुख है, नरक पृथ्वी में नहीं है. So basically in terms of Dev, we will learn further things in the further lecture about their grades, about their where do they live, which Bhaiya just now explained. So basically Asur Kumar Jati Dev are in Dev Gati, but definitely they don't suffer because they don't have the Narak Naam Karm ka uday. So yeah, I hope Bhaiya has answered your questions from the one who asked. Any further questions from the audience?
I'm missing your question.
Yes, my question. No, I'm good as of now. If
Your
I have
questions.
something, I can put up in the next session.
Sure, because I enjoy your questions. So that's that.
Okay,
All right.
okay. I think we are
Thank
good to go now. So yeah, we will be having one more lecture which will be dedicated to the Devgati part. And before we conclude, let me show you the accessible points just to make you aware about the portal and the platform. So, in terms of accessible points, you can log into the website jeev.net.in under the resources section. You can navigate the topic you want to explore. Let's say 4 stages of existence is one such topic. As soon as you'll click on it, you will see the highlighted one, and you can click to browse the topic. You will receive a link to access the course. If it is a 2 hour course, it is mentioned. 3 hour course, it is mentioned. You can view your courses on a dashboard, how much it is completed, 1 on 2, 1 on 3, 2 on 3, or whatever. Select the course you wish to access, and you will gain entry to its content, including articles, presentations, quizzes, and more. So, in this screenshot, you will be seeing one article on 5 cents, which is there. If you want to access to the presentation which Bhaiya shared on the screen, that is also available. The most important is Gurudev Shri lecture snippets. So let's say our topic is Chaar Gati. If any of the important snippet we find in Gurudev Shri's lecture, we will have that 5-7 minutes of snippet, convert it into English subtitled video since our medium is English, and you can access that resource as well to understand the topic more nicely. And further, we have these links. If you want to go to our YouTube channel, you can press the bell icon there under GIF portal, and this will help you to get regular updates on our lecture schedules. And once the lecture is done for any particular topic, the next day we upload it on YouTube. So from there, you can access offline also. And you have any queries, you can directly mail us or contact us through website. Yeah. Same way, we can proceed with the Jinwani Stuti.
यन्तधर्मणस्तत्त्वं पश्यन्ति प्रत्यगात्मनः अनेकान्तमयि मूर्तिर्नित्यमेव प्रकाशताम्.
9 times Namo Karma.